to be fire. It just makes every single thing delicious. Oh, I dropped my pen in there by mistake. Oh, fantastic.
Alright, so how's everybody doing today? Hope your day's going well. So, we're going to talk a little bit about Helldivers 2. It's this new co-op game hidden PlayStation, kind of hitting the internet by storm. Very good game. A lot of co-op action. A lot of enemies. A lot of growth for expansion, obviously. So this first video, we're just going to talk about the ship management and basically stratagems and your destroyer and everything and the ship modules. To really explain it very quickly, you have two enemies on one side of the galaxy. It's the Terminids. I don't know if anybody's ever seen Starship Troopers. It's going to be something like that. You have the bugs. Excuse me. And then on the left side, you're going to have the automatons. Automatons are going to be more like your Terminators from the Terminator movie. So you're going to have a little bit more of that. So we're going to open up ship management here. Now, these are your destroyers, right? And they're all called different names. You can make your name whatever you want it to be. All right. And here we go. So this is stratagems. These are going to be the call down things you call to support you in missions from your destroyer. You got the machine gun, the anti-material rifle. Ooh, gosh, look at me. I can't even speak, and I got all these catchphrases planned for the next few videos. Anyway, expendable anti-tank missiles or rockets, whatever you want to call it. The recoilless rifle, flamethrower, autocannon, railgun, and the spear. Alright, so I'm going to talk a little bit just about the actual weapons going into the game. The machine gun is a weapon that everybody starts off with when they become an actual player. The anti-material rifle is what you come in a little bit later if you start ranking up. I do highly recommend this weapon only because it can take on medium armored enemies. Definitely for the bugs. The automatons, I would say it is still effective, but unfortunately, some of their armor is just a little bit kind of on the heavier side just because they are metallic, that unfortunately the anti-material rifle doesn't have that much of a kick, because even it says it can take on light vehicle armor, but that's the problem. Some of those units just have that little bit of that armor plating, and you have to shoot 2 or 3 times just to take them down with this gun, which isn't terrible, but it is a bit much. Usually on the bugs don't have that much armor on them unless you're getting up to like higher difficulties, and then you got that armor, but most of these shots are kind of a one-shot kill, definitely with them. The stalwart, fantastic. It's just a little bit more control than the actual machine gun. It's a little bit easier, a lot easier to aim, excuse me, and it's just well balanced, and it doesn't take that long to reload. The expendable anti-tank. Now there's a little bit of an issue with this. It's a one shot. That's it. Unless you have someone completely supplying you with ammunition, it's just a one shot. And it's good. It's just it's good at damaging, but it's not always a one shot kill. The recoilless rifle. Now, I think this is a fantastic weapon, only because not only does it stop chargers, which you just saw right there, that's a charger. It does stop those chargers, which are heavy units, but you have to shoot about 3 or 4 times to stop one. But it can penetrate their armor, and you get a backpack with you that has like 5 to 6 shots. So you can still shoot those shots and always still call down a supply unit or call down another recoilless rifle. Does have a recharge time of 480 seconds, which is a little bit lengthy. It is, okay, it is. But this weapon is mainly just used to take on those heavier units in those harder missions. Flamethrower, fantastic. I would not recommend using it at a close range because definitely the bugs tend to rush through the fire, and if they touch you at any point on your body, the flame gets transferred to you and starts burning through your health very quickly. So, whoops, I apologize. So the flamethrower, great at long range, just wouldn't recommend it for close range combat. Really takes you out very quickly, and it can burn through your health. Autocannon, great weapon. Comes also with a backpack that you can reload. This weapon, fantastic in taking on heavier units. It does say it's more effective against light armor. That is true, but the weapon itself can still penetrate good amount of medium armor against those heavier targets. Good against the robots, still great against the Terminids, which are the bug units. Railgun, fantastic weapon, a little bit more experimental. Charge it up, you can hit the heavier units. The spear is mainly used for those tank units, excuse me, on the automatons, but those are later in the harder missions. We're going to move on to orbital cannons. We're going to wrap it up a little bit quickly. Orbital stratagems are all about shooting down from the actual destroyer. The Gatling barrage, not too bad, can cover a small area. Not as effective, in my opinion. I'd say it's really good in probably the easy missions. Maybe a medium mission if you're just smacking a small area. I would not be using it all the time in a challenging mission. It lacks punch, and it just does not it does not penetrate heavy armor, and because it does not, or medium armor, and because that, I just don't recommend it, because it's kind of like you're just getting rid of the weaker units. Yeah, you might thin out the herd, but you're missing like the heavier units that you're running from. Airburst strike, I really like this at the beginning of the game. Got it around like, I think level 6 or level 7. Very effective. Shoots it 3 times, so boom, boom, boom. Really good clearing out those enemies and stuff like that. What it does lack is it doesn't have the punch to actually decimate an actual area or like impact. It doesn't have a large impact zone, but it airbursts in the air to like wipe out a lot of the weaker units. But it does not pierce the ground to where it destroys something or causes a massive explosion. High explosive barrage. I did get this. I don't really recommend it because it's super inaccurate. It just covers a mild area, but it does not. It does impact the zones, but if you targeted a bug hole, it wouldn't hit every hole. It's very inaccurate, and you kind of just hope that you're lucky enough to hit people or hit your enemies. The 380 millimeter high explosive barrage, very effective. It looks like on more powerful structures when we're getting to higher levels, but I haven't used it yet. I don't know if it's that effective, but it does look like it's still very spread out. Orbital walking barrage. I have heard that this is very effective in the higher rounds, especially when you're versing a lot of heavier units or medium units coming at you. Very effective. I just haven't used it myself, so I would definitely need to see it in action. I guess would be, I need to see it in action before I can give my like full honest opinion. But from just the videos walking through it, it looks like it's decently effective. Orbital laser. I've already used this. Fantastic. I love it. It's good. Really great at taking on those heavier units. Right there is the charger. It locks onto that heavy unit, wipes them off the map. Love it. Have nothing bad to say against it. It can take off the smaller and medium units. Yes, it can. But if you got a heavy unit chasing you, it grills it, it barbecues it. Oh my gosh, you're in the southern states. I mean, you might need a napkin or something, or you got to put some sauce on that meat because that barbecue is going to taste really good. Like we're cooking. We're cooking. This is in the kitchen, yo. We're cooking. That laser grills. I love it. The orbital rail cannon, I have not seen this. I do have some other players that I play with that have seen it in action, and it's fantastic. They said, I can't wait to unlock it for level 20 and take it out for a spin. But it looks like it's very effective, and it targets the heavier units, disregards the lighter ones, but knocks out the heavy units. We're moving on to the hangar. This is going to be mainly all just the eagle strikes. Strafing run is good. I liked it a lot. Eagle airstrike was good too. It's a little bit spread out. You can use it a little bit more. The cluster bomb, I loved it. It was a lot more spread out, a lot more bigger explosions. Kind of covers the field. The napalm strike creates that barrier, but I did not buy it just because does create that barrier, but unfortunately it only has 2 uses. And anything I feel that is 3 uses or less, I'd say 2 uses or less, is just not worth the money to spend on that actual stratagem because it's not effective enough during the entire mission. The jump pack, not a great buy. I'm sorry. It has a long recharge time, but you get like one or two good solid jumps, and then it has to like completely recharge, and it must be charged before use. Like you have to charge it to do the jump in the first place. That's lame. It was lame. We got to see it in action in one of the missions. It wasn't great. The smoke strike, I think that's good mainly for the automatons because they can't see where you are to shoot you effectively. Rocket pods look fantastic. Very explosive, but I have seen it a little bit. But I think it does lack a little bit of the punch to break through that armor when it comes to automatons. I did see it work really well when it came to the bugs because it was spread out. It was focused, but it had a lot of splash damage, so it worked really well. The 500 kilogram bomb. I'm pretty sure it's kilogram bomb. I apologize if I'm wrong. You can leave me a comment. That's okay. I'm open to constructive criticism. So the bomb, very effective on bug holes, from what I can see. That's a Bile Titan. Those are heavy units, like very heavy units. And if that works on the Bile Titan, I can't wait to get this. What bothers me is that, I have it unlocked. But the only reason why I haven't purchased it is only because it only has 1 use. You only get to use it once. Unless you upgrade your ship to where you get another use, you can only use it once throughout the mission. So that's a little sad. Orbital precision strike. Everybody starts off with this. Very effective. I liked it. Good recharge time of 100 seconds. Wish it was smaller than that, but I'm willing to work with it. The gas strike. I love this in the beginning of the game. Very effective. Very, very effective, especially on the bugs. On the automatons, it is effective. I like it a lot. But once you get to the medium difficulty for automatons, it does impact the punch. What's very effective is the gas strike still works on the bugs even at the medium level. What it lacks is at the challenging level, it does not damage the bugs enough. It slows them down. It will not kill them, which is kind of weird, but, we'll get over it. The EMS strikes, they just slow down and stun enemies and then allow you to kind of hit them hard, but that's all they do. They don't massively damage anything. They just stun them. Smoke strike, gonna be like that before. Still, putting down smoke, protecting you from being seen. A heavy machine gun emplacement, very effective, but I have been warned it can only face in like one direction. This one may be able to be turned in a 360 degrees, possibly, but the ones at the fortifications throughout certain missions, they can only be pointed in one direction. So that is a huge problem. And if the enemies are facing a different direction, you can't turn your turn. That way, you fall apart. Shield generator relay. Great. Has a 90-second cooldown, which is strong for a cooldown. Especially against the automatons, this works well. I actually am thinking about making this one of my next buys. Really great overall. Not as effective, I think, as the bugs, but I have to see it work out in the bugs. I've only ever seen it work in the versus the automatons, and it was great. But I have to see it work firsthand with the bugs. But 90-second cooldown time is not bad at all. It does deplete quickly only because it's only able to obtain so much fire. Definitely from the automatons till so then the shield's power just drains and then you gotta wait 90 seconds, but that 90 seconds isn't a bad cooldown time, so you know in the next minute and a half you're ready, you just launch it again, protect yourself. Tesla Tower, kind of excited about this. My only problem is I think the automatons can target it and actually shoot it down, but I think it would work really well against the bugs. This is gonna be my next buy when I start. I just had a lot of money and I spent a lot of it on different other weapons and stuff and stratagems. But this is gonna be probably one of my next buys too because it looks like it's really great if everybody's chasing you. You don't have to wait for like sentries to shoot down stuff. This just slows down the herd that's attacking you and just kind of like grills them. So really excited to see that in action. Engineering Bay. Anti-personal minefield, was using it in the beginning, working. It was fantastic, loved it. Supply pack, I did not use this only because I didn't need it. I wasn't that really that working around as that support type that I needed to constantly resupply people. Grenade launcher, I have used it in missions. Not one of my picks though, only because I have the grenades to work with and I can always just resupply myself, so I don't really need a grenade launcher. Not to mention it it is great against armored infantry. The problem is it has such a long cooldown time. It's 480 seconds. It's pretty long. And I mean, it doesn't seem too bad. It has a kick, but it just wasn't my playstyle. I might try it out later on down the road, but from now, for like a certain amount of time, it just isn't my playstyle. I'm kind of like that running gun, but I might give it a little bit more chance so I can get through the bug holes pretty quickly just by shooting a grenade launcher round at it and just cleaning it up. Laser cannon, I have seen that it does not do well against the actual automatons. Now it looks really great here, but I want to make sure this is clear. Laser weapons work great against the bugs, but laser weapons do not work great against the automatons or robots. Sorry, like rifles work well against the actual machines because they have bullet penetration and stuff like that. But laser weapons work great against the bugs, mainly because it's able to melt their like skin and their armor, and it works. Incendiary mines, we were rolling with those for part of operations. Loved it. Set the fire. Fire damage is very strong in this game. Works great against the bugs. I don't recommend fire against the robots because here's the problem. If the automatons get close to you, they shoot at you and their damage is pretty heavy. Also, the fire doesn't really always super kill them. Not to mention the flamethrower doesn't have massive range on it. So you bringing the robots closer just so you can kill them with the flamethrower, it It's basically moot. There's no need for it. Guard Dog Rover. Terrible on robot missions. Fantastic on bug missions. This is the best weapon to have. Love it. Ballistic Shield, haven't used it, but it also only allows you to use a pistol, so it's kind of lame, in my opinion. Arc Thrower, not bad. Problem that I've found is it's really hard to chain the enemies together, which I have discovered. But it looks like they're doing it really well in the video, but it does look like it is a little bit, in my experience, I have found it a little bit of a pain to actually chain them all together. But maybe there's something I'm doing wrong. Okay, so the shield generator pack. I do want to explain this. This is by far one of the best stratagems in the entire game. Excuse me. So, it takes all kinds of damage. It does have a strong cooldown time. But that cooldown time only happens if you massively lose the shield. Otherwise, the shield just regenerates on your backpack and you just run around without it, and then it regenerates and you're good to go. Here's the thing. That shield can take all kinds of damage. Like, all kinds of damage. You can get hit, you can get shot at, and you will literally just walk back up because your shield is still active. Can't wait to get this at level 20. It's going to be my first buy. Can't wait. Super excited. Machine Gun Sentry. Great in the beginning moments of the game. Very effective. Gatling Sentry. I use it right now. Fantastic for defensive missions. This is Robotics Workshop, by the way. Just really great overall for just defensive missions. Mortar Sentry. Super effective. This is by far one of the best sentries in the game, in my opinion. You can hit everything from long range and very effectively and cause all kinds of damage in the safety from long range, and then you can go into those areas and really get the objective accomplished. Guard Dog. Recommend it mainly just for the robots. It is effective still with the bugs, but the laser rover is the best. Autocannon Sentry. You gotta be using that against the heavy units. That's super effective. Very effective against the robots. It does not target the bugs that are medium and below. It targets mainly the heavy bugs and heavy armored medium bugs, but it will not target the lower class bugs. Sometimes it will. Sometimes it will. But it's how do I explain this? It's registers, like the way that it identifies enemies. It's slow. It's slow. It takes it a minute to identify enemies, and sometimes they'll let the enemies walk all the way up to it, and if they walk all the way up to it, it won't shoot them. It will just let them destroy it. The cannon. So it's kind of annoying. Rocket Sentry, very effective against the robots. It has its moments against the bugs, but I have yet to. I do have it, but I haven't really used it against the bugs. But I have used it against the robots. Very effective. But it can lack the punch against the robots. It has to hit them in sometimes the right area to really destroy them. EMS Mortar Sentry, I haven't used it. People tell me it's very effective when you go in against the enemies at the more challenging missions, but I have used EMS Artillery. I just have not used that Mortar Sentry version, but it's the same way. It just slows them down, and then but it's non-lethal. But that's where we are. Ship modules. I'm gonna go over this super quickly so we can just so the video isn't too long. The first part is just giving all those weapons and like stuff that's on your backpacks and stuff like that. That's just increasing the amount of supplies, increasing the amount of ammo and stuff like that. Your orbital cannons, these upgrades are just really boosting all the orbital stratagems you're calling in. making sure you have more salvos, making sure you have less cooldown times and stuff like that, more barrages, 10% reduced cooldown times, very great. Hanger, this is all by reducing the cooldown times of all these eagle strikes and making sure you got return times are reduced and you got more uses out of the actual strikes and stuff like that. If there's only 2 strikes, you get 3 strikes, and then yeah, and so forth. What does worry me on this one is oh wait, it does have it, the Eagle 500 kilogram bomb. Okay, so that actually gives you another it increases the number of Eagle stratagems uses per rearm by 1. There you go. So you could rearm the Eagle and make a second bomb, which is fantastic. If I can do that, I would definitely buy that once I get up to that upgrade. Bridge does the walking barrages, the gas strikes and stuff like that, rail cannon strikes and everything like that. Orbital laser reduces the deployment time, which is great because you don't want those taking too long before the targeting enemies. Increases the enemy ping on radius map and stuff like that. Work kind of towards that. Power steering improves the Helldivers steering during Hellpod deployment. Yeah, that just kind of, this is kind of bridge mechanics. It's just guidance, radar pings on the maps and stuff like that, and just reducing cooldowns. Engineering bay. Now this is adding the resupply stratagems by 10%. So this is 100% reducing the cooldown time by 10%. So that's very effective. I already bought it to make sure the cooldown times are a lot quicker for all my sentry emplacements. Very good. Recommend this as a good buy if you're definitely the defensive type. Increase the health. 100%. A lot of your defensive stratagems can get swarm attacked, right? But you want to increase their health so they don't get destroyed too easily. And sometimes they accidentally shoot at each other because there's enemies on top of them. So you want to make sure they don't die too fast or get blown up too quickly so you can still have them on the field. The deployment time. Sometimes they take a minute to come down from the actual destroyer, lessening that amount of time so you're up and running quick and in a jam or you need it in a hurry. It's ready for there and it doesn't take too long. So 100%. Yeah, so it looks like there's a TNT detonation at the time of launch. That's actually pretty cool. All right. Reduces deployment time for all sentry stratagems. That's fantastic for the robotics workshop. Get down there quicker. Increases the ammo for all sentry stratagems by 50%. That is a fantastic purchase. I'm definitely going to be working towards that. Sentries rotate towards new targets more quickly. That is great. They need to identify those enemies at a faster pace. That can really pay off for you as you're progressing through the game. Yeah, so that was basically all of ship management. So that was just covering that video today. If you have any comments about any more questions about the game and how we can really play to that play styles, I always do recommend these at least a sentry or 2 in your actual lineup. You have 4 stratagems to put in on every mission. I always do recommend at least defensive measures so you can defend yourself with a sentry. I usually use always 2. That's my kind of lineup, at least 2. But if it's a heavy defensive mission, I'm going to just run all sentries because I don't really need that air support if I'm just constantly defending the positions that I need to defend to make sure I can complete that mission on time. So with anything, thank you guys for joining in. This is Colorado96. If you want to hit that like button and subscribe, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that because now I sound like everybody else on YouTube. But yeah, definitely check out this game, Helldivers 2, fantastic. And I will see you all on the next video. Thanks.